So we're continuing on with our practice SAC here, and what we've done is we've created FR1 and FR2, and we've programmed it so that the welcome page will go to the order page. That's pretty much where we got up to. We haven't actually done this part where all previous orders should be cleared. We haven't done that part, but we're looking at customer order page here, and these are some of the things that we need to add. Some of these buttons here. So let's keep moving through, but you can see customers may access the menu page from here and all other existing functions. So we'll need to add a button where we can go to another page, which is the menu page. So there's a lot of form navigation going on here with this project. And there's a few other buttons that we need to do, such as checkout, bill, and save order by the looks of it. Now, let's just get out of there. Okay, so if we scroll down here, we can see these are pretty much this is a data dictionary which lists the variables and the lists that is suggested to be implemented. And we've got a menu item here. This is going to be a record where we can store certain information. I'll just go back here. Where we can store name, price, image, path, which is so that we can load the image of the menu item and then the amount that you've ordered. All right. So this is pretty much the data dictionary that's suggested to the students, and these are. Now they don't have to follow this exactly, but generally it's just easier to follow it. All right, let's keep going with the code. Now, yeah, of course you can't code unless you stop it. So I right click, I go into new item, and we write an order item here. So we're making a class here. So it looks like I'll be creating a class for my order items. Now my order items is going to be a record, right? And it's going to have certain properties in here. The properties that I'm going to give this order item is name, price, and amount. It doesn't really need anything else, this order item, because we need this so that when we've ordered the items, we know, this is the name of it, this is the price, this is the amount. That's really what the customer ultimately requires. So we go public property, and when we press enter, it generates kind of the whole get and set for us. And just to explain the get and set, properties, they expose internal memory spaces, and the get and sets allow you to get values from the internal space or set values from the internal space. So what I've done is we've practically produced a little bit of a interface to our memory spaces. Now we don't have the private memory spaces. So we actually need to make them. So we're going to go at the top here, and we're going to write private name as string, which is because name is a string, and private name, private price, and price is a number, but let's see what I do. I end up choosing single, which is which allows for decimal point numbers or floating point numbers. And amount is an integer, because if you're ordering a certain amount, you don't usually order half or anything like that. You order whole amounts. So that's why we've chosen it to be integer there. Now the thing with Visual Basics is the lowercase name and the uppercase name with the first letter, they have a name class because Visual Basics isn't very case sensitive. So we put the underscores in the front to represent private properties, and the private fields, and the public properties you will use the capital P version or the capital N version. Now you can see here on every property in the get, I write return underscore whatever underscore amount. So that's actually returning the internal field, which is the private memory space. These properties aren't memory spaces. They're like doorways to your memory spaces. Your memory spaces are the underscores, and these are just like doorways. You open and close, you walk in and you walk out. Think of it like that. And in the set, we just write price equals value or amount equals value, right? So the value is the thing that you will set it to, and then you will then store it into the internal field memory space there. Something that you shouldn't forget is for every property you should give it a data type as name, as single, as integer, else issues occur. Of course, if you're going to give the properties now it looks like I'm being a bit lazy. You need to give the values as well a data type, but it looks like I'm just going to be a bit lazy there. But that's okay. But you should do it. All right. So what I'm going to do now, it looks like I'm going to be adding some more buttons. So you want to scroll down, you want to have a look at all the things you have. There's buttons, there's labels, there's text boxes, combo boxes. I'm putting a data grid view. This will display the orders that we've made when we've clicked into our menu. But we haven't got a menu yet, so this is our DGV order list. Anything we've ordered we'll place into this list so we know we've ordered it. Right, so I'm putting a memory space here, an order list. So our data grid view will show whatever's inside this order list. Every time we make an order, we're going to add to this order list, and this order list is going to be a list of order items. And remember how the order items have things such as name, price, and amount. And I just want to go back there just to show you there's a keyword there that's important to understand. This shared word allows it to allows this order list to be basically shared to all the other forms, right? So all the other forms can actually access this order list because this is on a class level, public, so that everyone can access it. So you write public shared if you want certain things to be accessible via all the other forms at the class level. Alright, so in the customer order form load, I'm going to add a few order items just for arguments, just to test it out, so that we can make sure our data grid view works. So I'm adding an order. I'm adding Naruto ramen, which is the first thing that order item requires, the name. Do you notice the name there? So we're actually, but I'm going to add over here, looks like I'm going to add a new constructor to help me add order items better quickly, so that I can add the name and price and amount in one shot. So this is think of it as a little subroutine that allows me to add all of this information quickly instead of doing it one at a time, going .name, .price, .amount. I can just write new and put all of the three inputs in, and then it's done. And so what I'm doing now is I'm passing name, price, and amount from this particular subroutine, and when the subroutine finishes executing, it's pretty much stored in the internal memory of that particular object. So now you can see here I can start adding my stuff in one shot there. Now if you are unfamiliar with this, please look at my introductory course to visualbasics.net and look at the handling records, and I explain further why and how we deal with records. So what we're doing is we're actually dealing with records here. So I'm adding another order item into our order list. And it looks like I'm adding the third item into our order list. So the syntax is pretty much the same. Order list.add, open bracket, new order item, and then you use your constructor that we've just made before, and this constructor takes in three inputs: the name, and so forth and so on. So the next logical thing that I would be doing is I'd be trying to bind this order list to the data grid view so that it shows those three pieces of information in the order list data grid view. So the order list is the back end memory space, the list. Alright, so in this part, I'm creating a binding source, dim binding equal as binding source equals new binding source, open close bracket. So this is the this will help us bind the list to our data grid view. Then we write binding dot data source equals order list. So we give the order list to the binding object, and then we give the binding object to the data grid view. So we go data grid view, whatever the data grid view's name is, dot data source equals binding, and that should do it. And the key with this is, I'll just pause and just explain further. The key with this is this won't work. This won't work unless you make your name, price, and amount properties. They've got to be properties. That's why we spent so much time programming the properties part. This part here, sorry, this part here. So this part's actually very important because that bind won't work unless you do that. All right, so let's have a look at this. So let's just go a little bit further. All right. Have a look here. So so that's done. Now I run the software and go welcome, and there's an error. Oh yeah, that's right. When you create a this, you need to go equals and allocate memory to it. You need to go list of order items. Okay, so don't forget to do that, else you don't create an instance of it and you can't use that memory space. All right, anyway, that's pretty much done. So I'll see you in the next video.